Hello all, it's James Johnson, aka Sulphurblade. Welcome back to my channel, welcome back to my content, and welcome back to Heads Will Roll Reforged. So we are at Castle Dartford. We chose to kill the roach, and we're here with the Prince and the Earl. We're just beginning this chapter, so let's see where things take us. I'm not exactly trying to get any specific route here. I'm just going with whatever I feel like going with. So this might be old content, this might not be new content. I could try to get new content at this stage, but I'm not really interested in that particular route as of yet, as there's lots of routes I haven't done going this path. So we're just gonna go with however the flow goes here. So I'm gonna talk to the sergeant. Evidently I'm supposed to put together a squad. Hello, James. Or should I say greetings, sire? Is that how we're supposed to address you now, Sir Knight? Sounds about right. But since we're old friends, you know, I'll let it slide. Ha, well, thanks for that. When you were still a toddler, lad, I was already chopping Welsh rebels into pieces. When you first picked up a twig to chase geese around the yard, I was already besieging Scottish castles. And when you chugged your first pint, I had already drunk a lake of ale. So your fancy titles, they won't impress me. To me, you'll always just be a lad, no matter how many gold chains you wear around your neck. Don't frown. You've got a bright future ahead of you. I could tell right away that you were no slouch. Even the Earl and the Prince trust you with their business. Yeah, you're going places, that's for sure. Just remember not to turn your nose up too high, and don't forget your old friends. Not all of us are destined to be knights, eh? And the knights themselves wouldn't get very far without good old soldiers like myself. Roger that, Sergeant. I need men, evidently. I'm gathering a warband. I need men. I've got a couple of promising candidates, but don't expect much. Your increased social status allows you to build your own squad that could include up to 4 men. The number of available candidates, as well as their skill level and gear, will depend on your prestige. The higher it is, the more experienced and well-armed warriors that will seek to join you. After every battle, the member of your squads will receive experience. He will allow you to increase their level, which improves their skills and gear. So, looks like I can get a hold of a level 6 man-at-arms, a level 6 highwayman, a level 6 crossbowman. Main attribute, weapon skill. We'll go with Mad Gerard here because his main attribute is weapon skill. Here's a weapon skill guy. I might go with him even though he's lower level. Here's another weapon skill guy, but he's spear. I'm not a big fan of spear people. Alright, fill the 4 fingers. This guy's a crossbowman. So I'll get him. And honestly, of these remaining guys, I'm not that keen on them, so I think I'm gonna go with the peasant because he's cheaper. Tom the One-Armed. We'll think of him as our cannon fodder, if you will. Okay. So let's go look at the squad. I suggest putting the guy you most want to level in the last position, because in order to level people, they have to actually survive a fight. And in order to actually making it to the end of the fight, the best chances of that happening is if they're over here in this position. Alright, let's see what the equipment is on this guy that we most like. He's even got a crossbow. Okay. So, weapon skill at 12, that's so-so. Anyway, we'll swap him, we'll swap him, we'll swap him. This man-at-arms, I believe we got because he has weapon skill. Indeed, he's got even higher weapon skill than the highwayman does. Okay, well, we'll put Phil the Four Fingers in slot 3. We're gonna put our peasant in swap 1. He does at least have a shield, good. And this crossbowman is in slot 2. He does not have a shield. So these two are just kind of here to soak damage for these two. These are the two that we're actually hoping to level up. Alright. I do kind of want to do some training. My melee weapon skill being 21 is a little low. My agility being 21 is a little low. I would like to get some of these things up a little bit. So we're going to do just a tad bit of training here. Do we have a bunch of gear on us that we don't exactly need? Yeah, we probably do. Oh. Alright, well, we'll sell that. Sell this. We already have the nobleman's scabbard, so that's just money. Swordmaster's ring. That could actually be useful, and this shield might actually be useful. You're like, for what? Here, we're gonna go back to our squad. And which squad member was it without the shield? It's you. Okay, so let's customize. Here, have a shield. And (9, 8, 6, 12, 9, 8, 6, 12. Nine, 8, 6, 12. You know, Phil seems to just be better than Mad Gerard, no matter how you slice it. So we're going to customize Phil. Trinkets. Phil now has a Swordmaster's ring, which ups his weapon skill even higher than it would usually be. And I'm going to swap these two around because Phil's our man. This is the guy we're going to work to turn into something, I think. Might be something useful. And the rest of these, well, I guess kind of be cannon fodder for him. Okay. Anything else to sell? I don't think so. Let's go to our inventory. We have a damaged, slightly damaged torso piece, but it will still function just fine for now. All right. Actually, what is my virtue? 13. There's no way I'm going to get to 70 some virtue in order to get the Justice Sword. It's just not going to happen. You are to report to him immediately. Hey James, how's your love affair going? Relationships are a subtle matter, I understand, but do not drag it out. We simply do not have the time to tiptoe around. So, what's so hard about it anyway? Confidently approach her, take her hand, tell her... Well, what do they usually say in such cases? You can handle it, I'm sure. Thanks for the advice. No need to thank me. I've already deducted 5 pence for the consultation from your salary. Okay, let's get down to business. We're hearing disturbing news from the north. It's said that Canterbury sent envoys to the Scots. I don't know what exactly he's up to, but if what we hear is true, then it smells like a full-fledged boar. My father had many enemies, both external and internal. Now that he's dead and we are extremely vulnerable, they will all begin to stick out their noses and rush together under the banner of Canterbury. In the long run, under the worst circumstances, this can easily turn into a protracted confrontation. We cannot allow this to happen. Exactly. This means that we need not only to crush the rebels, but also to do it as demonstratively as possible. To give everyone a little taste of what exactly awaits anyone who dares take up arms against the rightful king. Got it. So how are we going to do that? As the Earl, I went through the old map this morning, so I remembered a very remarkable place west of Dartford. Lindisfarne Abbey. Have you heard of it? Do not strain your brain, boy. I know you haven't. This abbey has been half abandoned for a couple of decades, but once upon a time history was made there. Several of the closest vassals of William of Normandy, the Conqueror, were buried in this place. But more importantly, according to legend, it was in Lindisfarne that the Sword of Justice was kept. Sword of Justice? I think I've heard of something about it. This is the exact ritual sword that was used to execute traitors since the time of Danalag, and with this sword King Alfred personally cut off the head of 4 princes who agreed to help the Vikings capture England. This thing has got to be about 500 years old, maybe even more. I wouldn't be surprised if the Romans used it to behead rebellious Celtic war chiefs. This is a significant thing, the symbolic value of which can't be overestimated. The very fact that we have the sword of justice in our hands will make everyone understand who exactly is the legitimate ruler of the kingdom, and if we also manage to execute Canterbury with it, then the authority of the rebels and everything connected to them will be totally undermined. But how would this help us against the Scots? It wouldn't help us, at least by deterring the locals from joining them. Even if the rumors about the imminent invasion of the Scottish force are not a lie, we can always repel them by combining the efforts of the entire kingdom. And this is precisely our task, not to let these lands which have been gathered together for so long crack at the seams. So don't waste time, James. Go and retrieve the sword. New quest added, Sword of Justice. Alright. It's time to go off and work on the quests. So we're going to start with Greenwich. On your way to Greenwich, which is about 2 hours of ride from Dartford, you once again go through the instructions that the Prince and the Earl gave you. As per them, the young Countess, Alyssa Caldwell, is pretty much the only person whom her aged father trusts and listens to, which means that the quickest way to get to the Count on our side is by making his daughter sympathetic to our cause. According to the plan, you were to appear at her court under the guise of a knight who has just returned from France, which, luckily, should not require any special acting skills on your part. News from overseas will naturally attract a fair amount of attention to your person and provide a solid reason for you to be personally presented to the Countess. After that, as the Prince said, it's all on you. Your arrival at Greenwich Castle, as expected, causes a commotion. The news of the return of a royal knight from the war spreads like wildfire. Prestige success. You are immediately taken to one of the central halls, where you are introduced to the Count, an elderly but still decrepit man with a very displeased look, surrounded by a large retinue. Your arrival catches him in the process of getting ready to depart somewhere. Finding yourself almost face to face with him, you do not intend to lose your chance. You're already mentally prepared to describe to him the treachery and betrayal of Lord Canterbury in the most vivid colors, and then single-handedly convince the Count to side with the Prince. However, much to your surprise, the old man glances at you without even remote interest and then says that he's already got hunting scheduled for today, and you, with whatever it is you want, can come tomorrow, or even better, the day after, or maybe early next week. With that said, Caldwell and his retinue depart, leaving you alone. At that moment, when you are about to go back with nothing, she suddenly appears. Please do not be angry with my father. He had to go through many wars and intrigues in his young years, so recently he has somewhat lost interest in them. And even more so, that we have plenty of our own wars and intrigues in Greenwich these days. Enough for export. My name is Alyssa Caldwell. I am the daughter of the Earl of Caldwell, and am simultaneously the only person who maintains at least some semblance of order here. You, as I understand it, just got back from France. What did you say your name is? My name is James, and I'm one of Earl Northampton's knights. We returned from the continent just a couple of days ago. Is that so? And is the war over then? So did we win? To be honest, I'm not particularly aware of what is happening, and the news that reached us was, for the most part, extremely inconclusive and contradictory. I wouldn't mind if you told me about your exploits, if of course you have something to tell about. Starting your story with the arrival of the Royal Army in Dunkirk, you quickly realize that Alyssa indeed has a very poor understanding of the events unfolding on the continent, and therefore can hardly distinguish between truth and lies. I can tell the truth. I'm plenty heroic that I don't need to lie about it. Despite the attention that you draw, you refrain from embellishment and recount your adventures truthfully. Virtue increased by 5. Yeah, we've heard rumors that things aren't going too well, but I didn't think it would turn out so bad. Honestly, I have seen such a disaster only once in my life. The year before last, my father tried to marry me off to the son of the Earl of Essex, and I managed to fall off my horse right in front of the future groom when I was brought to be wooed, and right into a huge spring puddle that was... The wedding fell through naturally. The Count of Essex said that he was not going to marry a dirty girl. Although, I always considered that part to be more my forte. But what can you do, right? I'll have to search for a husband someplace else. Sounds like an even bigger disaster than the King's campaign in France. Very likely. Honestly, the French affairs of the King never really interested me. All these land disputes, military campaigns, and empty-headed knights don't excite me at all. Although looking at you, I'm beginning to believe that an empty-headed knight who doesn't ask too many questions is exactly what I might need right now. Thanks, my lady. I'll take that as a compliment. I see you obviously aren't used to talking to nobility. Anything I say to you is already a compliment, simply because I'm addressing you. As for your arrival in Greenwich, then, if you indeed are who you say you are, I have big plans for you. In what sense? Over the last year, the surrounding lands have slowly but surely been descending into utter darkness. It all started shortly before the late king embarked on that foolish war of his. During his military preparations, he imposed all sorts of unbearable taxes on most of his realms, including Greenwich. These new taxes saw the peasants stripped clean of everything they had. This alone was enough to cause massive unrest, while the king's tax collectors and sheriffs only added fuel to the fire. Full-scale uprisings soon broke out. It was not that bad at first, but after the king left for the war, taking most of the knights and soldiers with him, there was no one to keep the raging bastards in check. And then some Duncan person appeared from among them, who formed almost a full-fledged army from the bandits. That scoundrel calls himself Prince of Thieves, and is not afraid to openly threaten the surrounding castle and cities, demanding money for protection from the bandits. From themselves, that is. And that's not the worst part. The people of this Duncan share a part of the loot with the peasants, who are dissatisfied with the authorities, and in exchange are ready to supply and cover the bandits. My people have already raided them several times, but the best they could catch was a couple of small fries, and at worst, like it was a month ago, my own soldiers were ambushed and had to run for their lives. Some filthy peasants make us live in fear in our own land. Boggles my mind. Can't someone just deal with him? How come nobody has dealt with him? In his heyday, my father would have crushed them like insects. But time has taken a toll not only on his body, but also on his mind. These days, he's only concerned with hunting and drinking wine. And what about the sheriff? Why don't you ask him for help? Seriously, do you think that we are all complete dolts here? This is the first thing I did. And nothing. The sheriff has been catching this Duncan for 2 months now, but to no avail. And I have a strange feeling that he's not trying too hard, since the sheriff prefers to conduct his search for the bandits without leaving his own estate. Let's be honest. From your story, I gather that you and the young prince need the help of my father's people. All this to say that you need my men to fight your war. You can waste as much time as you want trying to meet the old count, but I'll tell you right away, there's no point, because I make all the calls. And I am willing to help you, but only if you help me. Bringing the rightful king to the throne is, of course, an important matter, but as long as my own lands are ravaged by bandits, I absolutely do not give a damn about any problems of the crown. And what do you suggest? It's almost as if we're reliving the Dark Ages here. Help me deal with the bandits, and I'll guarantee you my full support in the future endeavors. My men and my father's vassals my father's vassals will fight under your banner. I don't seem to have that much of a choice, do I? Hey, where's your enthusiasm? Any of the local knights would have been delighted with the opportunity of running an errand for me. Consider it an honor. I will try. Since we're practically under siege here, I suggest you start by clearing the surrounding areas of the bandits. Once Greenwich is safe, we'll talk about dealing with the sheriff. New quest added, My Little Dark Age. Alright, I will be right back, guys. Alright, I'm back. Let's see how we can do against these bandits. On your way between Dartford and Greenwich, you run into a small group of roaming bandits. Taking you for a knight who's bound to have some good loot on him, they instantly attack you. Okay, what are we working with? Weapon skill 7. Weapon skill 9. Poison weapon. Am I going to try to go for a bone crusher? Yeah, why not? Peasant's shield is now broken. Going for the neck. Shield blocked it. He's dead. Didn't even get a chance to save him. Three turns of poison, 1 turn of bleeding. Rotate. Don't die till I kill you, please. I don't even have the opportunity to do anything but kill the guy. Okay, respite. This seems to be the last guy. I want to get him in on the fight. And we'll search and grab whatever's here. Boy, we're getting a lot of these visors, huh? Old ring, plus 10 strength. Having defeated the bandits, you return to Dartford Castle. 1 of 2 random encounters completed. Don't really need this many visors. I'm torn what to do with the old ring. here's a placard. I want that. Alright, we've leveled him. Now what do we have? Weapon skill 21. That's a solid fighter right there. I'll level this guy too. Let's see how that turns out. Not convinced on this guy. I think I'm gonna give him the old ring. Brings his strength up to 20, so he'll hit a little harder. Repair, heal. We're not leveling this guy. We're burning through the money on these bastards. Okay, socialize, blacksmith. No, not blacksmith. Activities, socialize, sergeant. Like a bunch of scared dogs, but no matter, we'll be back one day, I'm sure. I'm gathering our work, man. I need men. I got a couple promising, don't expect much. Pat the Bee Eater, a peasant for 120 florins. Axe and strength. Another peasant. Axe and coordination. Axe and strength. Pat the Beet Eater. He's got a crossbow, he's got a shield. Alright. He's first up to die. On your way between Dartford and Greenwich, you run into a small group of roaming bandits. Taking you for a knight who is bound to have some good loot on him, they instantly attack you. Alright, he's effectively nerfed. You shouldn't be able to hit anything. 5 turns of poison. Can he live through 5 turns of poison? Possibly. That's my target. He's trying to steal my vitality points. Alright. Breaking Cutthroat. Batter. Huh. Overhead strike the limbs. Should finish him off. Alright, 3 turns of poison. Let's rotate you out. Weapon skill 6. Crossbow skill 9, almost none. Bolts. Weapon skill 11. Oh, wait. I'm tired. This is the guy with the good weapon skill here. Wow, he pulls out an antidote. Mail. Good deal. Metal bracers. Arming sword, flail, light infantry shield. Proceed. Having defeated the bandits, you return to Dartford Castle. 2 random encounters completed. Alright, let's level up our dude. He is now 25 weapon skill, 12 agility. He's solid at this point. Am I gonna spend money on Gerard here? Yeah. He's up to 18 weapon skill. What is this? Why is he toxic? Oh, because I didn't spend money on that. We're not leveling him. We'll heal and repair, but we're not leveling the peasant either. Thank you. Oh, we've got a weapon talent, eh? Swords. Increase chance to bypass enemy shield, maybe? Yes. I'm up to 48 virtue. Really? Because of the bandits I killed, they give virtue. Still not enough to get the sword. I'm 22 points off the sword. I think the sword is 70. It might be 75. Hmm. $31, $49, $9. So it's really the difference of 2 torso armor. We'll use the damaged one as backup armor. Do Do I have anyone that needs a shield? I don't think I do. Yeah, you've got a shield. You have a shield. You've got a shield. I'm sure you've got a shield, yes. Huh. Is there anything I can do to squeeze some more virtue out? I could do some praying. But I'm not going to be able to pray 22 points of virtue. And I don't think any of the sheriff stuff is going to get me where I need to be. I'm going to have to duel the sheriff. In fact, I might even lose virtue when I'm sneaking around in his house. Well, I guess we'll just move forward here. Oh, they're scavenging. What could I scavenge that could help me with virtue situation? Yeah, I don't see that really helping me. Well, hello. Welcome back, Mr. Hero. You've been quite the talk of the town here in Greenwich lately. Everyone and their mother are talking about your victories over the bandits. I have no clue how you're pulling all this off, but the truth remains, I no longer feel as though my house is constantly under siege for the first time in quite a while, and it's a magnificent feeling. Relationship with Alyssa improved by 20, 150 florins received. I thank you for such high praise, milady. You put any task before me, I'll get it done. I love your approach. If you continue to press me this way, I'll have to seriously consider the idea of rewarding you with something more than gold. EXP for completing the quest plus 20. What's our next move? Now that we've done the sheriff's job for him, it's time we took care of the man himself. We need to expose his shady affairs. If the bastard really helps the bandits, then there's no choice but to eliminate him. But how can we know for sure if he's involved? Relax. Your job is to swing a sword. I'll do the thinking for both of us. I already have a plan. The mere mention of the word plan makes your eyes twitch, as Northampton and Prince Edward's sly, grinning faces appear in your head. You will go to his estate disguised as a tax collector and conduct a small audit of his assets. If he's really working with bandits, then he has to be paid more than a handful of florins. The money has to be big, enough to leave a trail. You'll just have to take a good sniff around his place. Try to look convincing. If you show up at his doorstep dressed like a beggar, chances are they won't even let you in. As they say, you have to dress to impress. Sounds doable. Glad to hear it. Do not disappoint me. New quest added, death and taxes. Finding the sheriff's manor near Greenwich turns out to be quite straightforward. However, having already arrived at the place, you suddenly realize that you do not really have a detailed plan of action, and if the sheriff or even his people wouldn't buy into your tax collector disguise and let you in, then there would be nothing you could do. Moreover, it suddenly dawns on you that the sheriff, who in fact is an official of the royal service, is much closer to the tax authorities than you are, and potentially he may even know the local tax officials in person. But it's too late to turn back to rethink the plan anyway, and you have no choice but to act blindly, relying solely on luck. Upon arrival at the estate, you are immediately struck by the impressive number of guards and servants there. The sheriff's house is clearly full of life. The opportunity to test your theory is given to you almost immediately on one of the servants and a couple of guards accompanying him who meet you at the gate. Attentively listening to your story, he looks you up and down, closely examining certain items of clothing and equipment. Having mentally braced yourself for rejection, you are genuinely surprised when the attendant nods at you and orders the guards to let you through. Prestige, success. He tells you that the sheriff is now busy with important guests, but you can wait for him in one of the inner rooms. The room you are escorted to turns out to be littered with all sorts of things. Here, according to the servants, all parcels addressed to the sheriff are brought, which he then examines and decides what to do with them. In response to your request to let you into one of the premises closer to the chambers of the owner of the estate, you received a strict refusal. It seems that if you are to find any clues, then you will have to look for them here. A small purse full of coins, including gold ones. In order to keep it out in the open, you need to be a person of very specific character and position, or of very outstanding affluence. Half-dozen bottles of different kinds of alcohol, all of which labels and markings indicate high quality. Not quite up to Chateau de Lambert's quality, but tavern drunks are definitely not served this. Someone clearly spent a tidy sum on the content of these bottles. Coincidence? I think not. A large bastard sword with an ornate sheath and a blade of very high quality steel. This is certainly not a cheap thing, but someone like the sheriff can well afford it. A huge forged chest full of all sorts of stuff, most of which is useless. Among other things, however, it also contains a capacious marching bag made of good leather, probably belonging to the sheriff himself. It is filled to the brim with all kinds of medicines and potions. Don't risk it. A rack with pitchforks, spears, and halberds of all kinds. They bear little resemblance to what the sheriff himself would use. Most likely this is something from the arsenal of his guards or servants. A huge embroidered carpet. A luxury definitely brought from somewhere far away. Only a barbarian would walk on that piece of art. It's incomprehensible why that would be on the floor. Where is the key? I want to say it's somewhere in here. It may have been unrolled for show. The sheriff can hardly afford such riches. Unless, of course, this is a family heirloom inherited from some crusader ancestors. All sorts of rubbish, among which a small metal key is unexpectedly found. An impressive chest covered with numerous engravings, locked with a key. After opening the lock with a small metal key, you carefully examine the contents of the chest. For the most part, these are all kinds of clobber, almost all the fabric that feel expensive to the touch. The upper layers turn out to be not very interesting, but on several items of clothing hidden below you find large, dirty burgundy stains reminiscent of traces of blood. You'd like to continue your search, however, when the servant appears in the room and announces that the sheriff will soon be ready to meet you, you realize that it's time to get out. After all, a personal meeting with the sheriff is not part of your plans, and therefore you have to be content with only the information that has already been connected. You go back. Okay, At last, you sure did take your time. What's new? You recount to Alyssa the details of your trip to the sheriff. Despite only being able to explore one room, you managed to see quite a lot. Strangely enough, the Countess doesn't seem all that surprised. Good job, James. That's exactly what I thought. Everything suggests that the sheriff is conspiring with the bandits. Relationship with Alyssa improves by 5. This unties our hands. It's about time we got rid of him. How exactly are you planning to do that? I was under the impression that between the two of us, you would be the one in charge of any application of force. It's not me who has just returned from the war, is it? Alright, if it's my call, then here's what we're going to do. Blah, blah, blah. Did you honestly think I would allow you to call the shots? I've already set everything up. I sent a letter to the sheriff yesterday on your behalf. In the letter, you declare him a traitor to the crown and challenge him to a duel. You also admit that you're sleeping with his wife. What? What's wrong? Time is of the essence. I already told you. I didn't see the point of dragging this out. Honestly, I think you should be thanking me. I'm literally doing all the work while you can't even perform a basic task. I even saved you the trouble of having to come up with a plan for the sheriff's assassination. No cloaks, no daggers, no nonsense, just an honorable duel. Hopefully, that will also make for a good spectacle. Although, given that the sheriff is considered to be one of the finest duelists in the entire south of England, challenging him to single combat might not be the greatest idea after all. That's an oops on my part. Might have rushed things a little bit. Why are you so silent all of a sudden? That's a lot of information you just poured on me. That's something I do. You better get used to it. I also value obedience, and you're an obedient knight, aren't you? Yes? Am I? This is not the type of thing I'm usually asked about. Did you just blush? Relationship with Alyssa improved by 3. No. I think you did. Relationship with Alyssa improved by 3. That's impossible. I may be blind, but I'm not tactless, damn it. I meant the other way around. I may be tactless, but I'm not blind. You're red as a ripe tomato. I almost want to bite you. Relationship with Alyssa improved by 3. I said I'm not blushing. I'm just concerned. Concerned, yes, about the sheriff. I had no idea he was the best duelist in this part of the kingdom. There's no need to be concerned about the sheriff. The man's got a wife, I remind you. That is not what I meant. I'm kidding. But let me just say this. If you play your cards right, you might find yourself a wife soon. Relationship with Alyssa improved by 6. Suddenly a maid appears out of nowhere and hands Alyssa a sealed envelope. She then whispers something in the Countess's ear before vanishing as swiftly as she appeared. Ah, here's the sheriff's reply, swift as expected, rushing to meet his own demise. As my father likes to say, when death comes knocking at your door, don't be in a hurry to answer. Let's see what the sheriff has to say. Alyssa begins reading. Oh my, it looks like your words really got to him, maybe even too much. Particularly that part where you vividly described your bedroom adventures with his wife. I know her personally, by the way. She's a feisty one, for sure. But those things you wrote might have been too lewd, even by her standards. Alyssa goes back to reading. Yeah, this and that. It's the classic duel. One-on-one standard stuff. The duel will consist of 2 stages. The first stage with weapons of your choosing. The second with his. The first stage is to last for 15 minutes. If you both make it out alive, the second stage will last. For a fleeting moment, Alyssa's expression shifts, and for the first time since you've known her, you can see a look of genuine concern on her face. Last until the death of one of the duelists. Don't even think about dying, got it? The sheriff chooses swords. Both one- and two-handed ones are allowed. Shields are optional. You will also need to choose a weapon. I won't ask for your reply right away. Something tells me that you might need some time to think the decision over. Tell me when you're ready, and I'll send a letter to the sheriff. Meanwhile, go talk to Joffrey, my herald. He'll tell you all about the rules of the duel. By the way, you can also pay a visit to the Greenwich Armory. I'll tell my people to let you in. It's not the tower, of course, but there might be something useful. EXP for completing the quest plus 20. I'll visit the arsenal. I will take whatever's in here. This is an interesting weapon. Well, let's go sell some of this stuff. Reversed Edge Falcon. Damage of 9. And it's a sword. I have a sword on me. Yeah, you have a hunting sword. Ah, that's true. It's not much of a sword, is it? Well, we can sell the spiked axe. We can sell this halberd. We can sell the spear. We can sell the flanged mace. The vengeful hand. We're even gonna get rid of this combined armor? Yeah. I want to see something. Can we combine that bassinet with the visor? We can. 101. 23 head armor. Very little neck armor. We're basically eliminating all of our neck armor doing this, for the most part. I plan to keep the bassinet around as backup helmet anyway. This is just a better bassinet, right? It's the same 101. Just better. Yeah, craft it. So the bassinet has better head cover, but the neck armor is 1. And there's like no neck coverage at all. It's certainly a higher prestige piece of equipment, and in fact it even gets us a coordination back. I'm tempted to use it. It's higher prestige. And it gives us a coordination back. Yeah, but it develops a weak point. Neck. All we got is this little flimsy light leather gorget protecting our neck. It'll be fine. Will it really? Yes. And is this reversed edge falchion enough of a sword to do the fight that we're looking at doing? It's gonna have to be. Has a higher chance of inflicting injury and bleeding. Well, it's at least got something going for it, huh? What are the attacks? Overhead strike. That can utilize my strength. Good. Lunge. Alright. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. The fight should be over before we get to the sword, hopefully. It shouldn't matter that we have that or not. I'm full health, not quite full stamina. Alright, then let's go to... Wait, did that say chest? It did say chest. Holy cats, look at that. My chest has been brought across. I didn't even realize it was. Okay, there's the golden cross pendant, which will get us a little bit more virtue. But not enough to get the sword, I'm afraid. Can I pray 17 times and not run out of time? Do I have enough time for 17 prayers? But 17 prayers won't get me there. Of the 17 prayers, I might only get virtue like every second or third time. I would need more than 17 prayers. I think we're just screwed on the sword. I really would like to have more agility than what I have right now. I should be praying. Fatigue recovery increased. Strength of all squad members increased by 1. Great. Oops. Alright. We're going to do a straight agility, which is going to lower my strength, and then I'll just do a straight strength. Okay, I'm up to 25 agility. I like to have 25 agility. I feel better with 25 agility. we need to go do the quest now. I am up to what? 53 virtue? That's just really not enough. Good manager. That's if I have 90% with the soldiers. Do I have 90%? No, I don't. Alright, talk to Joffrey. Joffrey turns out to be an elderly man, fulfilling the duties of the Herald for over 3 decades now. Having been informed by Alyssa of your visit, he wastes no time in bringing you up to speed. Duels are conducted according to strict rules, the violation of which is punishable by dishonor and universal censure. To name all of the rules would take too long, so here are the key ones you should remember. In battle, only prearranged weapons can be used. If both duelists agree to fight with sword, then the duel shall be conducted with swords. Axes or spears, for example, would not be allowed. It is forbidden to use poison or poisonous potions. It is forbidden to use crossbows or bows. The first duel continues until death or surrender of one of the duelists, or until time runs out. The second duel has no time limit and continues until the death or surrender of one of the duelists. During the break, duelists are required to replace their weapons with one that meets the stipulated conditions of the second duel. During the break, duelists can replace broken or damaged shields or other pieces of equipment. During the break, duelists can receive first aid, however, serious injuries cannot be healed. Duelists can rest and recuperate as much as they can between fights. Okay. Talk to Alyssa. Well, are you ready? I choose a weapon. I will choose maces. Alright, the first stage of the duel will be held with the weapon of your choosing. Maybe try not to, let it lead to a second one. I'll send a letter to the sheriff. Pretty sure he won't make us wait long. I'm ready to duel. Well, try to come back in one piece, please. So many people gather to watch the upcoming fight that it seems as if not only the whole of Greenwich and Dartford is here, but also a good half of London and its suburbs. You have no idea who told all these people about the duel. At one point, it even seems to you that out of the corner of your eye you can see the prince and the earl sitting on the side of the wooden tribune, surrounded by commoners. People's servants, for sure. The sheriff, whom you see for the first time a couple minutes before the fight, turns out to be a hefty man with a shaggy red beard and a totally thuggish mug. You immediately catch yourself thinking that the conclusion about his involvement in the affairs of the bandits could easily be made just by looking at him. After extensive introductions and recitations of the regalia of both duelists, Joffrey, acting as the master of ceremonies for the entire event, declares the start of the first duel. Alright. Balanced hit. We don't have a huge chance to hit him right now, so we'll just go after the limbs with our standard attack. Alright, I do want to get a few bone crushes in on him to basically guarantee that I win this thing, because you can't heal serious injuries, and serious injuries are an easy way to nerf the contestant into oblivion. I can't spend too much time dilly-dallying. Shit, he hit me. That's what you get for hitting me. Wait. Huh? I didn't apply a second injury? Alright, well, we better just kill him. Am I gonna go with batter on his limbs? Yes. And I missed. Nice. The sound of the herald's trumpet announces that the first duel is drawing to a close. I better finish him off then. I got 2 virtue out of that, huh? The chair falls to the ground from your blow and does not get up. His weapon and armor become your rightful reward. Ring of Strength will make you resistant to stuns. Great Warhammer. Looking around, you expect to see the glee of the spectators in the stands, but the emotions of the audience are rather mixed, and many of them are clearly unhappy with this turn of events. Only Alyssa and her servants rejoice, and the Earl with the Prince clap their hands, nodding approvingly. EXP for completing the quest plus 20. Stepping over the body which the servants have not yet managed to pull aside, Alyssa goes straight to you. That was an amazing strike. It seems that Greenwich will need a new sheriff. The old one's looking like he's got some serious health issues. You think so? Oh, I'm more than sure. Frankly speaking, you had me a bit worried at the beginning, but luckily everything turned out well. To say I'm very impressed would be to put it mildly, and truthfully, it's not your skill with the sword that impressed me the most, but rather something else. What might that be? Your courage and determination. No matter what I asked of you, you risked your life again and again without hesitation. The absence of hesitation, of course, can also be attributed to the side effects of regularly wearing a heavy helmet and receiving blows to the head. But I don't think that is your case, at least not entirely. Alicia gestures you to shut up. No need to explain anything. You'll spoil the moment. As you wish, my lady. Well now, the job's done, so we can allow ourselves to have some rest. I happen to know a couple of rather scenic spots near the castle. How about we take a horse ride there and back with a little picnic in between? 2 weeks ago I couldn't even imagine being able to leave Greenwich without an escort or a dozen soldiers, but looks like the times are changing. So what do you say? Shall we go out on a little promenade? Yes. I think that's a wonderful idea. All my ideas are wonderful. Get used to it. Tired from the walk, you stop for a picnic in a picturesque grove. A laid-back atmosphere and a couple of bottles of good wine quickly do their job. Soon you both completely forget about the bandits, Duncan, and the fate of the kingdom. Alyssa laughs loudly at your jokes and with genuine interest, bombards you with questions about your adventures in France. She wants to know everything, the battles you lived through, the people you've met, the girls you've made promises to. Enjoying each other's company, you don't notice how time flies, but the sun starts to set and you have to turn back. After taking the Countess back to Greenwich, you say your goodbyes, agreeing to meet the morning after to talk business. Relationship with Alyssa improves by 15. Okay, I'm a little tired from the last fight. Even if I put that trinket on, my virtue would only be 60. 10 off from the amount of virtue I would need to recover the Justice Sword. So I think we're just screwed on the Justice Sword. Trade. I can get rid of this reverse edge falcon now. I don't need this ring of strength. Great Warhammer. Tempted. Though I'm using a trinket that requires a one-handed weapon. That's right. Forgot about that trinket. So this is Gonski's. Am I healthy? I am healthy. Okay, off we go to Lynn's farm. Even with the help of a map and verbal instruction from the Earl, finding the Abbey proves difficult. You finally locate it after having wandered the area for a while. Located a large hill, Lynn's farm turns out to be a whole complex of once majestic buildings, most of which already look pretty decayed and half abandoned. It doesn't take you much time, though, to find various signs of glimmering life that is actually quite active. In one of the least ruined parts of the Abbey, you find monks as well as a bunch of peasants all grouped around a large food cart. As you head towards them, out of the corner of your eye you notice one more detail, this time both unsettling and unpleasant. To the north, in the distance, you clearly observe a large cloud of dust slowly floating along the horizon. The kind that's created not by wind but by riders, and judging by its size, there's quite a few. Who they are, where are they heading is unclear, but right away something tells you they are nothing but trouble. Approaching a group of monks, you ask one of them to lead you to the abbot. The authoritative presence commands respect from the monks, who promptly escort you to the abbot. Prestige success. After listening to you intently and closely examining the royal seal given to you by the prince, the abbot sinks into contemplation. When his silence is finally broken, he confirms the legendary sword you seek in Lindisfarne is indeed kept here. However, it would be preposterous to entrust it to just anyone, especially without a decree of the reigning king. As you're about to protest, the abbot gestures you to stop, indicating that he hasn't finished speaking yet. After another lengthy pause, the abbot says that there might be an exception. The most deserving individual, committed to using the sword solely for noble purposes, could be entrusted with its stewardship. And he does not see such a person in you. Your virtue has failed. You try to convince him, but the abbot is adamant about his decision. A cloud of dust on the horizon, likely stirred by the clip-clop of hooves, advances to your position. You sense it's time to leave the abbey, but you aren't able to do it in time. As you approach your horse, a group of armed riders storm into the inner courtyard. After dismounting, several of them immediately disperse the monks with jabs and kicks, and then rush inside the abbey. Some others recognize you as a threat, form a semicircle around you, cutting off your escape route. Now, standing just a few steps away from them, you can make out their faces. One stands out from the rest. Guarded by heavily armed thugs, right in front of you stands none other than Lord Canterbury. Not so fast. Going somewhere? Do you know who I am? Yes, I do. Good. This means I won't have to waste my time casting pearls before swine. In any other case, I wouldn't waste a second of my time talking to somebody like you. But it so happens that fate has chosen to bring us together under interesting circumstances. I know who you are. An armed man in a half-abandoned abbey looks like a fox in a henhouse. I expected this. Why, you ask? Because even an incompetent duo like Northampton and the young prince must understand the significance of the item that is being kept here. Therefore, they would obviously send someone here. Probably the best man they've got. With a wave of his hand, Canterbury points at the men flanking him. I, as you can see, came prepared. Did you? Well, since it is you who they sent here, you are probably the best they've got. And given that neither I nor Northampton can afford to squander any of our valuable men at the moment, I have a proposal for you. Listen closely. I will offer you this once, no matter how much they are paying you. Swear your allegiance to me, and I'll double it. I don't want to work for the bad guy today, so I'm going to refuse. I already swore my allegiance to another lord. I will never break my oath. How admirable to find a man of honor among low-born yokels like yourself is a rare treat. I hope you won't start begging for mercy when Roger will be slitting your throat. That would ruin the picture. Because dying with honor is just as important as living with it. Deal with him, Roger, and get back to London. There's a lot to do. Got it, sire. Don't waste too much time on him. Something tells me that Northampton's best man will turn out to be of the same quality as his genius plans. Two of Canterbury's men emerged from the abbey, one of them holding an oblong item wrapped in cloth. Is that it? Yes, sire, we got the sword. Good. Fletcher and Foster with me. Saddle up. Canterbury swiftly inspects the contents of the package before returning the sword to one of his men. All three mount their horses and speed away into the distance. I can't believe it. We almost paid 3,000 florins to this poor schmuck. God is my witness, if the boss really gave you those 3 grand, I'd still kill you out of sheer principle. Thanks for the honesty. You're welcome, son. Alright, guys. I bet you 100 florins that he will squeal like a pig when I'll be cutting off his nose. You're a funny guy, Roger. I like you. I'll kill you last. Roger grins wickedly and raises his warhammer. See this thing? I hit twice, once on the head, and again on the lid of your coffin. Okay, here we go. Renegade Knight with a weapon skill of 12. Canterbury's Mercenary with a weapon skill of 18 and a poison weapon. More worried about him. Can we land an overhead strike? Yeah, it's not exactly guaranteed, so let's just go with the batter. To the limbs? To the limbs. Am I gonna try to even save you? Get out of here. Shit. Leave my armor alone, huh? Okay, we can pull off an overhead strike. We can hit the neck. Do I need an overhead strike to kill him with the neck? I might be wasting stamina. I might be able to do it with a batter. Drains enemy stamina, builds up fatigue. Debuff is equal to 1/3 of your strength plus 5. 14 damage. 3 times, but it's a neck strike, so it'll be 3 times 14. Yeah, I think batter should pull it off. Limbs. let's get some resting in. We'll have Roger to deal with after this guy, I think. You've killed 2 of my men. I'll skin you alive and then roast you on a spit like an animal. How much damage was done? Alright, swap them around. I'm gonna pre-apply an antidote. I don't remember if Roger uses poison. Something is telling me he might. Will. Strong line bone coagulant. Equipping the normal antidote there. Oh, and here's my nearly dead peasant friend. And a crossbowman has appeared. Get out of here. Limbs. bladder, the neck. Rotate. Let's just go for a quick one. Almost. Alright, let's try to rotate you out. Let's see if you still came back stunned. What? You one-shot Gerald? Rude. Just get out of this fight, Phil. You need to survive. Son of a bitch. The hell? Who is this guy that keeps hitting me with a weapon skill of 16? I call bullshit. Carried away by the battle, Canterbury's men break their formation, opening you a path to retreat. Gonna fight on. As I get shield bashed and knocked down and stunned. And then this guy comes along and kills me. damaged my helmet. You son of a... Really? I don't remember fighting Roger being this hard the last time I killed him. Oh, and this guy keeps hitting me. You know what? Let's go into defensive stance. I want to kill him. I really don't want to run away. I think I need to. Seriously, I did not have this many problems last time I fought him. Well, the last time you fought him, you were using your frickin' axe. True. And now you're not using the axe. True. Virtue lowered by 10, prestige lowered by 1. And hollering insults, but they are too tired to give chase, allowing you to safely escape. Your arrival catches the Earl and the Prince in the middle of a conversation, most likely an important one, as both of them are keeping their voices down. Relationships can be, sure, but they're also, that's right. You think I should talk to her? You think I should talk to her? Alright, I'll talk to her. But she'd better be paying me some proper respect this time. I get the importance of political marriages, but there really should be some easier option than her. With all the tantrums and shenanigans that she's put me through, I almost feel qualified to write a book on the whole taming of the shrew thing. Maybe you should. Maybe I will. Hey James, you're back. It looks like James is back, but I don't see the sword. Where's the sword, James? Canterbury's got it. His men caught me at Lynn's farm before I could escape. I tried to fight them off, but I was seriously outnumbered. It's a miracle I even made it out alive. Oh well. That means he won the first round. This wasn't entirely unexpected, but I still had hope for the best. Alas, it is what it is. Let that be a lesson for all of us. And by all of us, I mean you, James, that we must not forget whom we're dealing with. Canterbury is as smart as he is ruthless. We cannot underestimate him. No matter what we do, we always have to be ready for the worst. Well said. We might have let the sword slip through our hands. And you know who? I mean by we, James, but we absolutely cannot let the same happen to Caldwell's daughter. We can't afford any more mistakes. And when I say we, James, I got it, sir. I won't fail you again. I sincerely hope so. Reputation with the Earl lowered by 15. EXP for completing the quest plus 20. Your untreated injuries make the vitality decrease by 1. Give me a second to heal, huh? Fucking game. $18. Might as well be wearing that. Wine bottle, equip. Tourniquet, equip. Character situation is not good. Inventory. Let's use one of these potent medicines. Probably one of the normal medicines. How are we now? Still not quite healthy, but healthy enough, I think. Equip the water skin. There's a demi-cuirass. I'll buy it. And why did I come here? I came here for strong ale. Let's buy a wine. Okay, equip. Equip. Character chest. Grab this mail, transfer. Back. Okay, character. Crafting. Are we? I guess. Okay. Limb armor of 9. This gives more torso cover, but less torso armor. And it gives more neck armor and neck cover. But I lose in endurance. So for now, I'm happy with this armor. Are you really? I am. So you just created more backup armor? Evidently I have. Alright, that's fine. Travel back to Greenwich. Well, good morning, sleepyhead. Someone almost slept through all the fun. Good morning, Countess. Did something happen? It did. And it is something good for a change. Last night a group of bandits tried to loot an estate a few miles north of Dartford, but this time my men were ready. The attack was repelled, but what's more is that we managed to capture one of the bandits alive. Looks like we're in some serious luck. Luck? Are you serious? I actually anticipated their attack on several locations, including that one. Once you've made sure that Dartford is safe, I was able to redeploy its guards and have them set ambushes at strategic points. Thus, it's not thanks to luck, but rather thanks to my genius. Well, a little bit thanks to you, too. Now, let's talk about our new prisoner. He, as it turns out, is not much of a talker. Since you're here, I suggest you do a little bit of persuasion. I have no doubt that you'll make him sing like a nightingale. You want me to torture him? No, I want you to have a friendly chat with him. Of course I want you to torture him. How else are we supposed to extract any information out of him? These filthy yokels, with a mixture of mud and ale for blood, dare to raise their filthy hands against us. Us, the nobility. This is unheard of and has to stop. Last night they showed up at the estate of Baron Warwick, but tomorrow it could easily be my home, or yours, or a home of anyone among us. These bastards and everyone who support them must be reminded of their place. Honestly, I'm surprised this even needs to be explained. Do whatever you want with him. Drown him in his own blood if you have to, but make him talk. What do I need virtue for anymore? I wasn't able to get the sword. True. But is torture with my character? I mean, he looted stuff all over Europe. Well, looting isn't really torturing. He stole stuff? Yeah, but thieving isn't really torturing. He assassinated DeRoche in the middle of the night. Even when his daughter begged him not to. He murdered a man in front of his daughter, who was helpless. Yeah, I think I could probably torture somebody. Alright. Agree. He'll tell me everything he knows, even if I have to rip it out of him with red-hot steel. Virtue reduced by 15. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Relationship with Alyssa improved by 5. That's my obedient knight. The bandit captured by Alyssa's men happens to be a young man about your age. Of course, he refuses to tell you anything, replying only with silence and a look of disdain. When you offer him a final chance to spill the beans, the easy way, he grins and assures you that his comrades will surely seek revenge against you, the Countess and each of her associates. Cursing you and your children, he laughs provocatively. You laugh as well, while pulling out a knife. 15 minutes later, his mocking confidence is all but gone. You've seen and inflicted enough wounds and mutilations on the battlefield, enough to understand the human body well, and to know what should be done to it to keep a man suffering an inch away from death. Cut after cut, stab after stab, blow after blow, severed finger, loose teeth, now litter the blood-stained floor, yet the prisoner remains determined to resist. Only when you slowly drive your knife into his eye does he finally start screaming. By the time his eyeball fell to the floor, his voice has completely broken down, reduced to a bare wheeze. Pathetically slurring in his speech, he babbles he's ready to talk if you just relent. Most of what he says is incoherent, but you manage to glean something about a secret location in the forest. His usefulness having run out, you mercifully slit his throat. You immediately dispatch one of the guards to Alyssa to report the news, while you take a moment to wash the blood off your hands. But no matter how much you rub and scrub, the blood doesn't wash off. Virtue reduced by 70. New quest. The good guys always win. Your immoral conduct spawns various unpleasant rumors which quickly spread around, tarnishing your reputation. Virtue fail. Reputation with soldiers lowered by 15. Reputation with Earl lowered by 4. Amazingly, my virtue is only negative 10. I am very, very tired. Alright. What's next? You find Alyssa focusing on a map. When she sees you, she gets straight to the point without greeting you. Here, this place should be somewhere around here. To be honest, I still can't believe that we're about to finally catch that scoundrel. Just a couple of weeks ago, he and his men had the entire area shaking in terror. But now, it's us who have got them by the throat. The best part is, they don't even realize it yet. Hold your horses, my lady. Don't start celebrating too soon. If this Duncan fella really is at least half as dangerous as you've described him, then this is far from over. He's bloodthirsty and resourceful, but his strategic acumen extends only to setting up crude ambushes. He and his men are no match for you. My people are ready to march, and await only for your command. Go and put an end to this story. I'll pray for you. Quest updated. The good guys always win. Impoverished knight, huh? With weapon skill. Alright, we're gonna grab this peasant. Activities, socialize, sergeant, squad. What the hell? Where'd that guy go? Are you kidding me? Alright, well, we'll just get another peasant. Cheap peasant to die. He's got a shield. He's got a shield. The weld. Okay, here we are. The intel gleaned from the captive further clarified below so proves remarkably precise. Your squad finds a bandit hideout within hours of scouring the area. The camp, bustling with activity, is well equipped and adequately hidden, perfect for a long and cozy stay. The bandits who have taken refuge here seem to have settled in comfortably. The breeze carries with it soft strains of melodies as well as the tantalizing aroma of sizzling meat. There aren't any real guards around, just a couple of groggy goons making the rounds along the camp's perimeter, whom Melissa's men swiftly dispatch with crossbow shots. Catching the enemy completely by surprise, you win the battle before it really has a chance to begin. Seeing that those few who try to fight are executed on sight, the majority of the bandits prefer to surrender Among them you find Duncan. Alyssa's men who are under your command have suffered a lot from Duncan and his friend in recent months, and now they are clearly eager to get some revenge. Torturing him to death is hardly on their minds, as he is too big of a prize to lose just like that, but he definitely won't be in this good of shape once they're done with him. They will make him pay an arm and a leg, maybe even literally. Interfere. This little payback, however, is not something you intend to allow to happen. Be it because of chivalry, morals, or something else, you stopped Lys's men from torturing Duncan. They obviously aren't happy about it, but still follow your orders, paying respect to the chain of command. Virtue increased by 15, reputation soldiers decreased by 15. While the men are preparing the captives and the loot for the journey home, you for a short while find yourself alone with Duncan, who thanks you for what you did. This show of gratitude, however, is quickly followed by a smirk, with which he deems this act of virtue utterly meaningless, as the Duchess will not only execute him, but put him through something much uglier than anything the soldiers might come up with. The Duchess? Who the hell's the Duchess? The daughter of a count is just the daughter of a count. She certainly isn't a duchess. A duchess is higher rank than the daughter of a count. I don't know who this duchess is. Two of his mates, for example, recently ended up being flayed and then burnt alive by the personal orders of none others than the young Lady Caldwell herself. When you ask Duncan whether he is afraid of sharing their fate, he straight up laughs at you, offering you to do a quick thinking exercise. He got his hands on enough gold to travel far away and live as a king, and yet he's still here living in a mud hut, sleeping with his sword and regularly risking his own life in skirmishes against the local lords. Why would he live like this? Why wouldn't he adorn himself in silk instead of blood-soaked chainmail? Why would he be the Prince of Thieves instead of becoming the Duke of Sussex or Count of Kent? And most importantly, why he, a murderer and a thug, according to some, is met with open arms in any peasant's house? Why are men ready to risk their lives for him, and why do women name their sons after him? Duncan laughs, seeing your confused expression. Tell me, Sir Knight, what does it feel like to realize for the first time in your life that you are fighting on the side of evil? When you've almost figured out what to answer, a soldier comes to inform you that everything is ready for the journey back. The road back to Greenwich takes you through several villages, all the inhabitants of which, through the word of mouth, are somehow already aware of what has happened, and when your convoy makes its way through the streets of another village, a good half of the people come out to gaze at you and your prisoner. Interestingly enough, instead of cheering for the captor of a notorious criminal, the peasants show nothing but sullen discontent. And not only that, at some places the sight of Duncan in an iron cage invokes sobbing cries and insults directly at you and your squad. And this is how you take the prisoner to Greenwich. Quest updated, the good guys always win. Congratulations on another victory. Call that intuition, luck, or anything else, but I know a hawk from a handsaw. One glance at you was enough to tell that you're exactly the man who can and will bring law and order back to Greenwich. Exactly the man I need. Thank you, my lady. That bastard Duncan is awaiting his fate in an iron cage. Half of his men have been slain and the rest captured. The bandits are no more. Looks like Greenwich can finally sleep peacefully now. You have no idea how grateful I am to you. The events of the past few months have turned my life into one endless nightmare from which I could never awaken. Now at last I'm awake. All the horrors are gone, like a bad dream. It's all thanks to you. Thank you. Relationship with Alyssa improved by 30. The code of honor compels me to aid a fair lady, especially one as fair as you are. No, more ladies. You can call me Alyssa now. As you say, Alyssa. Well now, I too remember my promise. In all honesty, I'm not particularly excited about the young prince's ambitious endeavor. My father in his time at royal court was no stranger to intrigues and conspiracies around the throne. According to him, these machinations taught him a simple lesson. As long as your head is still on your shoulders, you can consider yourself a winner. And as long as you are a winner, it's never too late to back out of anything that is looking too risky. Shut up, I know everything. If you were a man who backed out at the first sign of risk, you wouldn't be standing here now. You can count on my help. Thanks. Didn't I tell you to shut up? Even my limited understanding of military strategy tells me that the prince doesn't have any more time to waste, and neither do you. There's no guarantee that I will ever see you again, so I suggest you don't waste our precious time talking, and instead help me get out of this dress. Quest updated, another genius idea. You can now recruit Count Caldwell's men. You have received a gift from Alyssa. Personal battle standard. 20 prestige, 10 vitality. You know, what's this up to now? 23 vitality. It's a bit more than the 10 I would get from the personal battle standard. I'm at 5 virtue, so I'm at least on the good side of virtue. It's something. Do I need to report back into the Earl? It's all done. Alyssa will convince her father to support our cause. Now that the bandits are completely gone, we can fully count on all the resources the Caldwells have, which is quite a lot. That's good news, very timely, I must say. We almost started to think that sending you to the Countess was a mistake, but it looks like you did the job. I did, and maybe it's time you finally stopped doubting me. Ha, stop doubting you. If I had even an ounce of doubt in you, boy, we wouldn't have left you back in France. I'll be damned if you're not one of the best soldiers in the whole damn army. The Earl is right. You've proven more than once that you can be counted on. Such things I don't forget. On Monday, we march on London, and by evening I will be either king or dead. If all ends well, then the reward won't disappoint you. Thank you, sir. And if not, then this is my fate. Get yourself ready, James. We've got some tough times ahead of us. Okay, I should be able to rest. Am I gonna pray? Yeah, I'm gonna pray. Alright, before I hit that proceed button, we're gonna wrap the episode up here, because I find that whenever I get to the beginning of chapters, any little click of the button causes text to appear, and then, well, you guys miss stuff, and I don't want you guys to miss stuff. So it's easier if I save up here and proceed when we start the next episode. So, I'm James Johnson, aka Softwareblade. This is my content. Hopefully you're enjoying it. If so, please smash that like button, consider subscribing, and until the next time, all, peace